What's going on, everyone? Chris here with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to today's video. We're at On Any Moto Power Sports with my friend here, Miss Ann, Assistant General Manager here at On Any Moto. And what are we doing today?
We're doing my first Superbike ride ever.
That's right. We are going to take V2, the V4S out. She's ridden the Aprilia RS 660 before, on track, did phenomenal. Now we're going to step it up just a little bit more, and then a lot more when we jump to the V4S, because that V4S has the tune, has the full exhaust. How are you feeling about that?
I'm really excited, but I'm feeling a little intimidated, not gonna lie.
These bikes are going to show you that the technology that's on them, you know, really make them easy to ride. And it's sort of what we wanted to show to you all, is that while yes, the price tag's there, and yes, the horsepower is there, that they're not something to be necessarily feared, but respected. So let's hop on these bikes, go for a ride, and you'll see from her perspective if she wants to commentate. If she doesn't, you'll just hear giggles. Okay, so Ann, we're setting up this V2, 150 horsepower, 955 cc's, 300 cc's more than you're used to. Well, let me phrase that, on a sport bike. You've ridden other adventure bikes that are 1300, so in the grand scheme of displacement, it's not, but different way of delivering. We're in sport mode, okay? Little button down here, hold. You got race, you got sport, you got street. I'm keeping you in sport. I know it sounds scary, but it's just the way that the V2 likes to be. It allows a little more revs, allows the throttle to be a little bit more chipper, if you will. But it's not going to rip your arms off. It's not going to be holy shit. I mean, you know how to ride. Yeah. The grand principles of how to ride still apply to this. It's just, it's turned up a little bit. But it's the same principles. Feeling that friction zone is as basic can be. Literally leaving this parking lot is going to tell you a lot. It's got more torque. And especially being the twin, it's more torque on the lower side. When you hop on that, it's got a shit ton of torque, and it's slightly higher in the revs, so it's a different experience. But for this, just feel that friction zone literally leaving here with little to no throttle, and you'll sort of see what it's like. So what's fun about why we're doing this and why I'm coming out here with Ann is because she wants to experience this. She's assistant general manager here. She wants to understand not just the touring bikes, but these bad boys as well, and be able to lend more expertise because of experience versus what she reads or hears from me or whatever. So that's why she's doing this. And she's like, I don't want to do it unless I'm riding with someone else. And she want to ride with me. Oh yeah. We're back on the 25 V4S, and man, it's so different. I rode my V4R to the shop, and then hopping on this where the torque values are just, it's so different. It feels so different. But, so if you have a friend like I do here with Ann that's never really ridden bikes like these, take the time and kind of share the experience with them. Don't let them be too afraid that they don't get to experience this. They may not like the bikes or the style, and that's perfectly fine. But you don't know what you don't like until you really try it. Maybe you find someone that didn't know they liked these, and then you take them out and you let them have a good experience by being supportive to them. And who knows, maybe you just brought along a brand new sport bike hooligan. Who knows, Oh, she's feeling it. She's feeling it. I tell you what, something Ducatis have, and I joked about it with the twins, is a brown note. It's a vibration that you feel through your butt. That tickles the sphincter. Oh, so good. Yeah, she handled that just fine. I bet she's enjoying herself.
But options are super smooth. The throttle's really nice. I was very intimidated, and I feel really, really comfortable on the bike already. Clutch release is really, really long compared to other things I'm used to riding. So that is something I noted as well.
What do you think?
Overall, the bike's really, really manageable. It's not, I'm no longer intimidated by it. I was really comfortable by the time we even got out of traffic. The clutch release is really long. That is one thing I noticed. And I noticed the same thing on the RS660, so it's probably the style of bike where you engage, you disengage, engage. I always forget that.
They're about right there.
The release.
They're not like at a stop sign you're all the way in, but like once you're rolling, you'll notice that it goes like this far, and then you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
It's just that little bit that's...
Exactly, which is what I was intimidated by shifting from like first to second, because that's what I experienced with RS660. I thought the clutch was all the way out, and it wasn't. So I was extra cautious with this. But overall, I'm really comfortable on it. It handles well. It's not, the power is easy to manage.
Did you play with the quick shifter?
I used the quick shifter both up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Down was really abrupt.
Yeah.
So I prefer to use the clutch to shift down, but up shifting was great.
Okay. Well, we're in Race Evo. You don't want to race Evo.
No.
So change the modes. We're going road Evo. Okay.
Okay.
That's not wet. We're not killing the power, but the power delivery is smooth.
Okay. So wheelie control is up.
They're as safe as safe can be.
Excellent.
For the road.
Perfect.
So no wheelies.
Please no.
Unless you want some.
No.
You sure? No. Okay. You look like a wheelie machine. I don't know.
I've never tried.
Oh man, the V2 is just that more tame version. I love the vibrations of a twin. I miss them. This is a comfortable bike. I forgot how comfortable this thing is. Oh man, does that sound good. Oh, that so good. I wonder what she's feeling like. There's a lot of nerves jumping on a bike like a V4S. It's got the tune, the exhaust. There's a lot going on. The noise, the power delivery, everything it's just ramped up a good bit more than what this is. So if you're ever jumping from this to a V4S, don't think like, oh, it's only, it's 955cc to 1103, so like it shouldn't be that noticeable, but it really is. It's definitely a bigger bike in all aspects of the motorcycle. All right, see how she does around these turns. Not too bad, Miss Ann. I wonder what she's thinking right now. Oh my god, this exhaust sounds so good. And I would tell you, experiences like this are about them, not about you. So those of you that like to lead people like this and show them just how fast you are and everything else, they try to keep up or they lose interest. Let them ride at their own pace. Let them experience the bike without the pressures of you creeping all over them or pushing them beyond their limits or anything like that. When it comes to experiences like this, just let them experience it. Give them little tidbits of information you might have seen while they ride. Like, I'm probably going to tell her about her feet. And also give us space. Like, this is kind of close, but we're also not going very fast. But when it's come to like the twisties, you saw me, I was far away back. I knew I'd catch her, and I wanted to give her, that buffer there, so she didn't feel like she had to speed up or anything.
Track day, man.
Right?
I'm ready to go.
See how it's approachable. Like, yes, it's 220-ish horsepower, but like the electronics are so good.
Yeah.
That like it does a lot for you but it's not so intrusive that like you feel them like, oh my god, I can tell it's doing something.
The acceleration I feel is really super smooth. That's what I was kind of concerned with.
Yeah.
Is giving it, you know, not knowing how much wrist is going to do what, but it's so smooth and gradual. It's just super easy to manage. It's really comfortable.
Comfortable.
It's forward, but
Yeah.
squeeze the knees and you come up off the tank. Like it's just really comfortable and it's really fun. I'm ready for the track.
Right? It's so good. You know, you've never ridden something that's had this much horsepower, right?
No, probably not even half of this horsepower.
Right? So to be able to say that you're comfortable going to the track knowing what you're going to do there, I think says a lot.
And considering I've only been riding for 3 years, knowing that I'm still a new rider-ish, granted I have a lot of miles and I've done a couple of track days, but to go from just not having ridden 3 years ago to this, it's so comfortable.
So ladies and gentlemen, someone that's never been on a bike like this, and especially not a bike like that, you know, her words speak the truth. Obviously there's a level of respect that needs to be given. The thing about some of these bikes nowadays is because they're so easy to ride, they give you that false sense of security, and that's the only thing I really don't like. Some new riders get on something like this and they're like, oh my god, it's so easy to ride, I'm invincible, when in reality there's some stuff that can get you in trouble. I'm trying to shift the wrong way. You might have a full section clear. Oh man, I almost tucked the front. I almost never get to do this section because there's always a car, and sure enough, the V2 is good. I wonder how the new one's going to be.
All right, Ann, rode the V2 and the 25 V4S. Let's talk about your experience with the V2.
So I was intimidated by them both. The V2 is just really well-mannered and really well-behaved. It doesn't feel like it probably has the power that it has. It's really manageable. The throttle is really smooth, and even in sport mode, which I was a little intimidated by when we first started. But in sport mode, the power is it's just great. I think for anybody who's stepping up from mid-size or small sport bike, it doesn't have to be scary for them at all.
Yeah, I think the V2 is that logical step. If you don't want to go to the 1000cc and you're coming from a 4 or 5, even 600, you go to that. It's tame, it's approachable.
Yeah, having only ridden, I think I've done about 6 sessions on the track on the RS660. So that was my only sport bike experience before this. I feel like stepping up to the V2 for someone who's ridden any 600 or 700cc bike is going to be really easy.
Awesome. And she looked really comfortable, and you'll see it following her. It's like, we started going, I'm like, okay, we're going to have a little bit of pace now. So I was
pretty comfortable.
I was really happy to see that. Like, you're like, okay, I was instantaneous going, I mean, not too bad.
I was very comfortable.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the 25 B4S? Acura, tuned, you got the full beans.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's so well-mannered. We were in Road Evo. I would venture to say I could probably handle sport mode on it.
Absolutely.
Just keeping in mind that it's a lot more aggressive than I'm used to. At no time did I feel like I was up over my head or too much power. I noticed very quickly just a slight, and the V2 as well, but especially the V4S, just a slight push on the handlebars and you're turning. I went through a few curves on the way back up the other side of Gates Pass where I didn't move my upper body at all. I just used pressure on the handlebars, and the bike just flips back and forth so easy.
something I mentioned when I think the V4 platform came out in 2018 is it felt telepathic in the sense like it was just so easy to go one direction, change the other direction. That's why I like the backside of Gates Bus is there's a really quick switchback.
My daily or my normal ride is a 1200cc Moto Guzzi Stelvio 2017 adventure touring. No electronics, no frills, no fuss, just a great touring bike. It's about 545 pounds, pretty bulky and heavy. So the transitioning on corners takes a little bit more effort, takes quite a bit of effort. It's also a transverse twin. So I get the torque twist from that too. And this bike, both of them really, they just so naturally, and especially the V4, just in those corners. I mean, I understand now. When I started riding, I was a cruiser style rider. That's all I thought I'd ever want to ride. I didn't know anything about anything else. And the more different types of bikes I ride, the more I understand why people ride each different style. And I'm not ever again going to be a single style rider. I definitely feel like there is a need for at least 4 different styles of bikes in my garage.
Yeah, so what I was saying in my video was, well, I was following you. It's like, share this experience with someone. You know, you wanted me to come with you so you could feel comfortable, but at the same time, it's like I wasn't going to lead you. I didn't want to lead because I didn't want you to feel like you had to keep up. And then if I left you, that same feeling of like, well, crap, I'm not riding with it now. So to stay back, I think it allowed you to kind of really just explore it at whatever pace you felt right with.
It really did, and I don't know if you would have expected me to be so confident so quickly. So following you might have slowed our pace down a little bit, just because I know you're concerned for me and making sure that I'm comfortable and all of that. So I definitely, I was just so confident so quickly, and I think I'm kind of a natural rider anyways. But even for someone, you know, it just doesn't have to be scary. It really doesn't.
It's something I want to point out, though, and kind of be the devil's advocate to how easy these bikes are to ride. They're still 200 horsepower. They're still really fast. There's still a lot to them. It takes, you know, a little bit of this and a little constraint here to stay out of trouble. Like, these bikes have become just insane to ride. Electronics on them are incredible. But if you're stupid, you know, they're going to fight you.
And I definitely did give it a small handful of throttle at some point just to see how it would take off. And even just that small handful of throttle, I definitely see how someone could get in trouble if they weren't being mindful of the power that it has.
Exactly.
For sure.
Okay, so you look back at these two, your riding experience. Which one are you choosing?
Obviously the V4S. I mean, if you go big or go home. Right. I just, the potential of it is so great. I don't know that I would ever have the desire or skill to put the whole 200 plus horsepower to use. But I just feel like it's definitely, I mean, the V2 would be great. I don't feel like I would ever outgrow it ever in my lifetime, but I think that the additional ergonomics, the bike is very comfortable. The V4S, they redesigned the seat and some other things. It's very, very comfortable. And I think that is a big thing for me too. And just having that power when you want it. So
well, there you go. Brand new to the sport bike world. This is only her 3rd sport bike she's ever ridden. And, well, I would have to say it's definitely one of the top echelon. Now you got to try out my R and see what you think. Oh,
you let me ride it?
I mean, if we go to the track with it, why not?
Yeah.
It's an open, safer.
Down. Let's go this fall. I'm down.
Well, there you go. Something to look forward to is and hopping on the R, depending on if I sell it by that point. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah. And it's a pleasure. I'm glad you got to experience these and come into the world of hooliganism.
Always a pleasure, Chris. Thank you. I'm really glad I got to share the experience with you too.
Likewise. Well, hope you all enjoy this video. A little bit different. See it from a different perspective. And hope you take away something from it and maybe go try a sport bike out yourself. That's what you've been into.
If it's not, I highly recommend you try one anyways.
Exactly. You don't need to like it. Just experience it. If it's not for me, it's not for me.
Yep. Just try it.
But see you on the next video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and get out and ride.